Welcome, everybody, to Purple A's podcast. I am your host who bleeds purple and gold, Isaac here. Vikings are now 5-8. They went from getting shut out last week against Seattle to now shutting out this week. They shut out the Washington Commanders and they win 31-0. I was fully expecting nothing from going into this game, really. And I was like, I expected more of the same thing by the Vikings. I expected them to absolutely get obliterated yet again. But I was not expecting this. And I'm not the kind of person to cheer for my team losing. I'm not like we need to get a better draft pick or something like that. I'm not that guy. I always cheer for my team when they win. And I'll tell you what, that there was nothing to complain about this game. That was a lot of fun to watch. So, the biggest story in my opinion for this game was the difference in how things should have gone for the Vikings is committing to the run. What have we said for the past few years or the past few games? We're not giving our running backs the runs that we need, like giving them the ball more, because we're just committed to passing it more, just 40 plus times a game. But they did not do that. KOC, I will give credit where credit is due. Credit where credit is due for KOC. He ran the football. 34 times and only 23 pass attempts. So, you could tell that KOC was clearly committed to the run. I don't know what got into him, but he ran the football. He was committed to the run. He was setting up J.J. McCarthy for success than failure, like we've seen the past few games, where it would be third and short, and KOC would just do some goofy play or some weird play that never was going to work in the first place. He instead ran the football, and the Vikings had 162 yards and a touchdown, 4.8 yards per carry, almost 5 yards a carry. And it was working what Kevin O'Connell was doing. The play calling, the offense wasn't too snazzy. It wasn't too earn style points like we would see later on. In the season for the first 12 games we would see. Kevin O'Connell, I would say, one of the best coaching games of his career. And he's the reason why the Vikings had 0 turnovers. So, credit where credit is due with Kevin O'Connell. He coached one of the best games that he's coached ever. But I'm not saying he's out of the woods just yet. We need to see consistency this season. And if we see this, then you know what? I might have to backtrack what I said about him being fired at the end of the season. And J.J. McCarthy. And Kevin O'Connell. And you can't give praise to J.J. McCarthy without giving praise to Kevin O'Connell. J.J. McCarthy was great. 16 for 23, 163 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. The dude was calm. He was collected. He didn't look skittish at all, and he barely had any bad passes. He was on point with receivers and the tight ends. So, good game by good for J.J. McCarthy. And this is what he needs to have confidence in himself, to basically get himself a little better game in and game out, where you're leaning on the run game with Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason until he's comfortable with doing 40 passes a game. Until he is, then I mean, hey, watch out. Basically, JJ McCarthy he's definitely a passing threat, though, definitely. And when utilized the right way, and and to remind you all that this is a coach and quarterback league, and if they're both on the same page, then you know what? JJ McCarthy might not be a bust, and maybe even Kevin O'Connell might keep it. So, if this kind of system continues for JJ McCarthy, and if he have to pass like 25 times a game and run the ball more, you know what? They can do whatever they want against any team in the league. Aaron Jones, also other shout outs besides JJ McCarthy and Kevin O'Connell, because those are the big two MVPs of this game, in my opinion. But Aaron Jones was great. 14 for 76, 5 yards a carry. Aaron Jones, I mean, not just in the run game, but also pass protection, blitz pickups. He was great in that department. He still has it in him. Aaron Jones does. He's not out of it yet. Jordan Mason was good. 11 for 52, 4 yards a carry, 4.5 yards, a touchdown. He was great. Both of these two, 1-2 punch. It does not hurt to use them at all. It doesn't hurt to use them. So just keep on doing what you're doing, and these two, Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason, are going to provide for you and reward you with a win. Because style points is not everything. It's how you win. Anyways, Josh Oliver had 2 touchdowns. Good for him. Should be the tight end one, in my opinion, over TJ Hawkinson. Even TJ Hawkinson had a touchdown pass too. Let's see. Jalen Naylor was making some plays. He hasn't had any drop passes lately. I haven't seen any lately out of Jalen Naylor, so I feel like they should maybe keep him for next season. Otherwise, the offense was much better. It was a much better game plan. They were able to take advantage of the mistakes of Washington, and they never turned the ball over. Something the Vikings were really good at was turning the ball over. They turned it over 0 times yesterday. So good for them for protecting the ball. And the defense also deserves credit too. They pitched a shutout and held the Commanders out of the end zone. They beat the crap out of Jaden Daniels. There was consistent pressure. The run defense maybe was a little bit inconsistent, but I think they overall did a really good job. They allowed under 100 pass. They allowed only 99 passing yards to the Washington Commanders. They had 3 turnovers, 2 interceptions. Finally been waiting for a turnover game, and this was the literal definition of complimentary. Like, once the offense was draining clock, the defense would provide either a turnover or get them a stop. And that's what this Brian Flores defense can do. It's not really surprising that they went all the way off, honestly. So, Eric Wilson, let's start off with the praises. Eric Wilson had a sack. He's been balling this season, and it would be a crime if they did not pay him next season. They need to extend him. He deserves to be in the Pro Bowl next season. Get Eric Wilson over there. He is one of the cornerstone pieces of this defense, and And it would be a shame if they did not do it. Javon Hargrave. We finally have a defensive free agent sighting from Javon Hargrave and Jonathan Allen. Javon Hargrave had a forced fumble on Washington to basically ice the game away, to just put the game away, to not let him do anything. Good for him. Jalen Redmond had a sack. He's been balling too, along with Eric Wilson. They've both been making plays. Jalen Redmond needs to be the starter over Jonathan Allen because Jonathan Allen has not been making very many plays. I mean, at least Javon Hargrave is making somewhat of an effort to make plays. So I would say Jalen Redmond over Jonathan Allen any day of the week. Andrew Van Ginkel almost had a pick six. He almost got a pick six, but if he was a little bit faster, maybe he would get it. But Andrew Van Ginkel, he was impressive. He always lives off of those side to side passes. So good for Andrew Van Ginkel. He's all the way back. Harrison Smith had an interception. His 38th career interception. So good for Harrison Smith. Overall, the defense was elite. They have been elite, but this time, I mean, they were not hung out to dry by the offense. This time, they were helped by the offense, which is basically, to me, the big story is the offense. They're 5-8. I don't think they're still gonna make the playoffs. They're 5-8, so I still don't think they are after this win, and hopefully the rest of the season, I'm gonna be looking at the offense, specifically Kevin O'Connell and JJ McCarthy, the rest of the season, if they can continue to do what they were doing, like against Washington, not back to the old ways where they would just try to get funky with the play calls. But if Kevin O'Connell can keep simplifying the offense, then you know what? I'd say you keep him. Maybe the rest of the front office can be fired, but I think though maybe Kevin O'Connell has a shot of keeping his job, in my opinion. So this was absolutely a fun game to watch, and it was due that we had something like this, honestly. So, I mean, you can't take this for granted. I will definitely take this win, in my opinion. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that like button. And as always, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Skol Vikings.